Inclusion starts for us before the students even arrive at school. We do extensive work with the partner primary schools to ensure that all the information about students has been transferred to us, to ensure that we have resources and facilities ready for students before they arrive at the school, to ensure that the students have visited the school before they actually start here as a full-time student, and to make sure that all our staff are aware of what those students need to ensure that they progress in their lessons.
So it's making sure that every student in every lesson is involved in the work, making sure that I'm aware of each individual's needs, and making sure that when I plan lessons, I cater for every single need, whether it be to extend the higher ability and make sure there's open-ended questions for them, and supporting the lower ability as well, and then making sure obviously the middle ability they're able to access all the work so that every student can progress in the way that they should. I will use the whiteboard every lesson, the interactive whiteboard. So I will have a task which will be things like identify. So it's differentiated for the lower abilities. So they can literally go, okay, that's a nucleus. Click, drag nucleus over to that part. Then I will go on and I will maybe have tasks where they have to pair things up. Again, it allows the higher ability to kind of look at the harder things and the lower ability to start trying to make those connections. So I also use tablets where I'll set up a quiz and there's simple answers where they just have to kind of click multiple choice, which supports the lower ability, and then there's higher questions where they have to write out answers, and it gives them instant feedback so they can say, great, I've got that one, or I haven't quite got that one, and then I will get a chart that kind of tells me who has and hasn't got things right, so I can go around and I can differentiate and say, look, I need to extend you guys and here's my question, or I need to support you guys there. So I differentiate in that way as well using the quiz.
My expectation of the school is to ensure that every child, regardless of abilities, disabilities, beliefs, backgrounds, race or gender, are all encouraged to meet their academic potential. My son's joining secondary school Bedminster Down in September this year, and he's completely different from my daughter in respect that he has autism and learning difficulties. Bedminster Down have been able to accommodate this into the transition period. They've got a very open door policy with me as a parent, and they've arranged for him to have additional induction days at the school. So this means that with all his anxieties about change and being with older children, he's able to come in more regularly than the other students and become confident in his surroundings. On top of that, he's going to be invited to go to a summer school camp. So it's the first week of the summer holidays. He'll come with similarly minded children, do all sorts of activities, some in school, sometimes they might go out, but it's going to give him the opportunity to forge some new friendships with children similar to him from other schools, and this I think is going to be a real bonus for him because he's going to be able to get used to the building without the stress and worry of it being full with other students.
To support staff in achieving this, clearly there's a requirement for lots of staff training, and that's training about different strategies that we expect them to use, but also in the different technologies that we use to support inclusive practice in the school.
First of all, inclusion to me means that making sure that all of our learners, regardless of whether they've got special educational needs, whether they are English as an additional language, whether they're gifted and talented, in fact all the things in between as well are catered for. So inclusion really is about making sure that there is quality first teaching in the classroom, because that means personalised learning. Teacher knows exactly where the child is, where they need to move on. So that's the first thing. But we all know that children do have additional needs, so it's about using information from outside agencies, from primary school, to make sure that we are filling the gaps for those children that have additional needs over and above what other children would have. We have a number of interventions, and one of some of the short-term interventions is to take where the children are when they come from primary school up to secondary school, and if there are children for whom their they're behind on their chronological reading age, then we make sure that they come into a room like this and have one-to-one reading recovery. We also have a phonics activity which is known as sound training for reading, which is also about not only reading age, but it's about decoding text, which is a little bit deeper. It's about getting meaning from text. And that's been something that's been really successful, because what we find is that a lot of children seem to have an understanding in a particular subject, but then when they go into an exam, they fall apart because they are met with unfamiliar language. And what this phonics program does is it decodes or gives them a way of decoding longer words. It gets them to look for stems in words with meanings, and so that they then have the skills to understand or have a good stab at what new words mean, and it gives them a lot of confidence. What we found is that the reading age in 6-week 1 hour interventions a week, so 6 1-hour interventions, reading ages have improved by sometimes up to 5 years. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. And when we've interviewed students, they've also shown that they are a lot more confident and have said they're more confident with meeting new words. It's also about looking at one of the scoreboards that we've got, so personalised scoreboards, which look at the areas where the children are falling behind, and is focused then on, our intervention is then focused on those areas that they are particularly weak at. So it's again about using the information to fill those gaps. We use a web-based seating plan programme which takes information from SIM, so it has baseline data, it has whether the child is pupil premium, so from whether they're from a poorer background. It will have whether they're gifted and talented, whether they've got special needs, automatically flagged up, and you can set that out for your classroom, which you can update regularly. But it means that the first time you go into your classroom, you've got a photograph of the child, you've got a list of their strategies that work well for them, so that's a really powerful thing to start off the school year with. One of the other important aspects of education in secondary school is curriculum, and making sure that we've got the curriculum right for a particular child. And whilst everybody is required to do the core subjects, we offer a range of accreditation routes which suit particular children. So I'll give you an example. Some children do just continue to fall apart in examinations, so for that child it may be better to guide them during option times to courses with a greater amount of continued assessment coursework, and so there are some courses which are 100% coursework, some that are 60, so we've got a range that we use to make sure that children have accreditation routes that are suited to their needs.
This place is called The Lamp, which is our alternative provision, which we set up to include students who find school difficult for whatever reason. Some students are placed here because they have emotional behavioural difficulties and this supports them. It's been particularly useful for children who are school phobic and found attendance really difficult, and therefore we set up reintegration packages as a step back into school. We also use it as a way of avoiding fixed term exclusion, so instead of students going home and having a couple of days off, they are here and they work on the behaviour that led to the exclusion, and again a package in place for them to come back into school. We also do small group work here for students who work on positive behaviour, aggression management, resolutions, so there's a range of packages that could be provided. The big focus on the LAMP is that it is part of our school. So all students that are here are 10 lessons in school, they come back into school part-time, teachers from school come here. So the real push is that actually this is part of the Bedminster Down community, and that I think has been a real bonus. So in terms of uniform and expectations on behaviour, it is exactly the same here, but we have lots of agencies come in. We have the Drug Project come here, counselling, careers advice. So everything that's available in school is also available here. We never say to students, you're up to LAMP forever, because the beauty of the model is that actually they never blow it. There's always an opportunity to get back into school. So kind of proms, assemblies, all of those kind of things is really important. They're in our uniform, our expectations are the same here as they would be in school. So as an inclusive project, this has really worked.
So I hope you will have got a sense that inclusion is about every single student in every class, every lesson of every day. And in this way, we can ensure that every student, regardless of their needs, makes excellent progress in their time at Bedminster Down.